What's going on, guys? It's me, DQ, here to bring you guys yet another video. So after an Instagram poll, I have decided to do this video on 21 things about Germany that I wish I would have known before actually moving. Everyone's always talking about, yes, I want to go, Oktoberfest, sausages, this and that. Oh, you lived there for 5 years, amazing. Oh, I wish I could have done that. But these are some things that I wish I had known before then. So, let's start. Number 1, grocery stores are closed on Sundays. This was a big one that I did not know, especially since I landed on a Sunday in Germany. And so I was like, shoot, I can't even get food from the grocery store to cook. And that was tragic. Number 2, every time you move, you have to go to the town hall of that town, which is called the Rathaus. You have to go to that town hall to deregister and register at the new town you're going to. It depends on the actual region that you are at, which town hall you actually go to. So I moved about 3 times, so I had to deregister 3 times at the town hall in my city and re-register at the one in my new town. If you do not deregister, you might get a brief in the mail saying, hey, you didn't deregister, we have this address now and you have to pay a fine. I was like, whoa, I did not know any of this. I'm so sorry, what have I done? But yeah, wish I would have known that beforehand. Number 3, banking. So banking was also another issue that I really had. So when you set up a bank account at one town, it doesn't mean that it is valid in another town. You can still use your card and get cash and everything from the same branch of the bank that you're at. So I was at Volksbank, which is just one of the main banks in Germany. But because I had a Volksbank in Hohenlohe, which was the region I was at, when I moved to a different place, it wasn't part of the Hohenlohe. So if I wanted to deposit money, I had to go back to the bank from my other town or create a new bank account. I eventually just opted in for a online bank. Whew, that was something I wish I would have known. It was just a pain going from one town to the other to try and deposit money or pay someone manually and whatnot. It was just a pain in the butt. And online banking over there isn't really a thing. So yeah. Number 4, trash. So in Germany, you actually have 3 trash bins. One for bio, so that's like eggshells or any biodegradable food, so possibly veggies and stuff. You wouldn't necessarily put meats in it. You would put meats in your regular trash. Then you had your regular trash and also recyclables. Your recyclables, you don't just put into a trash can, you have to put it in a yellow bag. And you get that yellow bag from the town hall. So anytime that you're running low or you're running out, you just go to the town hall and you get those yellow bags. They are free, but that was also a big thing that you literally have to go out your way to go to the town hall in order to get those bags. Number 5, Christmas. Whew. So Christmas over there is 3 days long. The first day of Christmas, all the grocery stores close early. And then the other 2 days for Christmas, the stores are closed. There was one year I did not know about that. And I believe it was a Thursday was the first day of Christmas and the grocery stores had closed early that day. And then Friday, Saturday, the grocery stores are closed. And Sunday, grocery stores are closed in Germany. So I had no food for about 4 days. I literally lived off of like cheese and crackers. I was asking people for food. But they were already out of town, and so they just gave me the food that they had left in their house. They were like, hey, here's the key, we probably have something. So I was living literally on bread and like spreads and whatnot. I didn't have any real food at all, and I was like, oh my God, for 4 days I was just so hungry, and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Woo, I wish I would have known. Number 6, depending on where you are in Germany, for Easter, it is illegal to go dancing. It's called Tanzverbot. I was in one of the religious parts of Germany, and so on Good Friday, the Friday before Easter, they actually close all the dance clubs. So you could go partying that Thursday night, but at midnight, peace out, you gotta go home. And you cannot party or go clubbing for that whole weekend until after Easter. That's something I didn't know. When everything's closed, and everyone is home, your friends are around, you just want to party, so everyone just has like a small gathering and whatnot, and everyone's drinking and whatnot then. But I did not know that the clubs would have been closed on Good Friday. Number 7, friends. This was one thing that really hit home for me because it was so hard for me to make friends in Germany. In Germany, they typically have their friend group, and they aren't really open to inviting new people to their friend group. They have to know you for a while. So a lot of my friends that I ended up getting, I knew for a year before we started becoming actual friends. Even to this day, I probably talk more to the students that I was at the boarding school. They've become more of my friends than necessarily the people that I met outside of the boarding school. But they're friends for life. I haven't seen them in maybe 2 years, and I talk to them all the time compared to a lot of the people in the US. The US is very fast paced, and so you don't see people for a year or two and you're pretty much forgotten. And then 4 years later, it's like, oh my God, you did this. I can't believe it. Even today, I was at the grocery store, and one of the guys there was like, you used to work at Scarowinds at Dead End, right? And I'm like, oh my God, that was 10 years ago, and he recognized me. And I was like, your name's John. That's something different here. That's how it is in the US, whereas Germany, you have friends for life, but it takes longer for you to make those friends. Number 8, there is no AC in Germany. Possibly at hotels and whatnot, you might have AC. I know one of the hostels that I stayed at when I was traveling around Germany didn't have AC at all. So in the summer, when it does get super hot, I remember one time it was a little bit over 40 degrees Celsius. So that's probably 100 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe a little bit more. I took about 3 or 4 cold showers that day because it was horrendous. It was awful. The boarding school that I was working at actually canceled classes for the day and got ice cream for everyone. It was absolutely awful. Granted, it's only hot in Germany for maybe about 4 to 8 weeks, so they don't see the need for AC. And it's like, oh, that's extra money that I have to pay, and we don't really need it for that much, which is understandable. But whoa, when it's 42 degrees, you really want that AC. Number 9, they have windows in their bathrooms. So I know that sounds like a little bit weird. It's like, well, so what if they have windows in their bathrooms? In the US, a lot of the bathrooms do not have windows, so we have vents in there that filters the air when you're in the shower and whatnot. Whereas in Germany, they don't necessarily have those vents. So when you're showering, afterwards you actually have to open the window, which isn't a bad thing, but if you don't, if you forget, or you just don't know you have to open the window, you start to get mold in that bathroom, and you're just like, what's going on? So you start getting in that corner or something, and then you're just like, oh my God. And then you talk to someone about it, they're like, oh, are you airing out your bathroom? And it's just like, what? Because again, in the US, at least here, for 2 of our bathrooms, we don't have any windows in them. They have vents, but I've never seen mold in the bathrooms. So that was something that was very different for me that I wish I would have known from the beginning to avoid the problems that occurred afterwards. Number 10, clubbing. So the clubs in Germany are open till about 5 or 6 a.m. Sometimes, if you're in certain cities like Berlin, the clubs won't close. They'll open on Thursday and close on Sunday. And then in other cities, they close, which means that for maybe from 5 to 6, they might be closed, and they tell you, go get some food. And then afterwards they open up, and they open until about 10 or 11 a.m. I personally have not made it that long because I'm not used to it. The clubs in the US close around 2 or 3 a.m. Some places like New York, they might close a little bit later, or in some of the spring break locations, they might close at 5 a.m. or New Orleans, there are some places that are 24/7. But that's just something I just wasn't used to, but you can have so much fun. Number 11, alcohol and sausages. So Germans love their Bratwurst. They love it, they love it, they love it, they love it, no matter where it's from. I personally haven't eaten a sausage that I like, but that's just a me thing. There's never been a sausage that I've liked. And drinking, They love to drink. And if you find someone that loves Jägermeister, which a lot of people over there do not, even though it is a German drink, they will drink the whole bottle and just straight. They will just have it and just drink it like it's water and it's nothing. Oktoberfest, you have a huge mass of beer, which is a liter of beer. There's about 15 euros per beer, and those things are heavy, and you're just drinking and singing the whole time, and it's absolutely amazing. Number 12, there is little to no drinking and driving in Germany. Let me explain. So drinking and driving, meaning that if you even have one beer, the Germans look at you like you've been drinking, I'm not getting in a car with you. They do not want it at all. In the US, you probably have 1 or 2 beers if you're the driver, and everyone else will have obviously a lot more. We do that in order to still feel included, but we also space the beers out over a period of time. Whereas there, if you even had 1 beer, it has to be at least 2 or 3 hours after your beer for them to be like, have you had anything else to drink or anything? And that was just very different for me. Because I'm just like, I've only had 1 beer. They're just like, so? And I'm like, okay. They just will not get in a car with you, which is very smart on their end. But that leads me into number 13. There are no Ubers in Germany. So Uber is like taxis. But taxi drivers have to pay a certain amount of money in order to get their certification. So Germany has actually made it illegal for Uber to come over because it's taken away from the taxi business. So the taxis are crazy expensive. It's like Uber here would be maybe $8 for a 15-minute ride, whereas a taxi could be maybe $20. And so you're paying that $20 over there because you just don't have another choice. You may be in a car with other people and you split the cost, but who knows? When you're with people that are drinking, one person's pays, and then it's just like, whatever. But yeah, that's something that was also very, very different for me. Number 14, internships. So Germany puts a huge emphasis on internships and trade jobs. They're not necessarily like the US where everyone has to go to university. Because people for trade jobs, the demand is there. People aren't doing it enough, and so the demand is there, and so more people are doing it, and they're profiting from it because there's no competition at all. Considering that everyone in the US is getting their bachelor's and there's so much competition that no one's going for trade jobs, the demand is there, but no one is qualified or trained for it. And so people who are trained for it literally have a monopoly, so to speak. 15, going into trade jobs and internships, Germany doesn't really put an emphasis on graduating from the 12th grade. A lot of people can stop schooling after the 10th grade, and that's when they do their Ausbildung, which is that trade job. So they can learn to be a mechanic, or they can learn to be a technician, a plumber, and yeah, so that's what they do after the 10th grade. And they do that for 4 years. They don't get a huge payment like a full-blown technician or something would, but they do that for about 2 to 4 years, and then afterwards they're qualified and they can get a job. They typically get hired, or they can go apply somewhere else if they want to move. And then if they do go on to the 12th grade, it's called Abitur. And so they call that their A levels for the people in the UK, whereas in the US it's probably more your advanced classes or AP classes that you do in high school. They put an emphasis on doing really well on that, and the grades that you get on that depends on the university that you go to, which is kind of the same everywhere else in the world, but they don't put the stress on finishing up to 12th grade. 16, public transportation. A lot of Germans will complain and say that the Deutsche Bahn is always late and everything, which it probably is. It might be an hour, 2 hours late, but even still, their public transportation is amazing. It is so immaculate compared to places like the US. The US, everyone has cars, and so everything is a little bit congested. Since they don't have that much room over there, they put a huge emphasis on bikes, on buses, on trains. The buses are typically on time, but the trains might not be, but even still, you can get from point A to point B with little to no resistance. It is so easy and it is absolutely amazing. You do not need a vehicle, whereas in the States, you drive 10 minutes because there's no bus or train or anything that would take you there. So yeah, that's definitely an amazing thing about Germany. 17, cars. Again, their public transportation is absolutely amazing, but that does not mean that people do not have cars. But since they are so worried about pollution, some cities, such as Stuttgart, you need to have a certain sticker on your car in order to drive it on certain days of the week. I can't remember what exact colors they were. I know there's green, there's blue, and there's, I believe, some other colors, possibly red or orange. I can't really remember which ones they are, but in order to drive on certain days, you need to have that green sticker. If you do not, then it is illegal to drive and you will be issued a ticket. 18. So everyone's like, oh, all the Germans speak really good English. Oh, their English is amazing, which isn't necessarily wrong. But they either speak really good English or won't speak English at all. There were times that I had some friends that spoke no German at all around me, and they were just like, I can't speak English. And so they would just speak to me in German and didn't really speak English at all. Other than that though, again, they do speak English. I spoke German with everyone because I do speak German, and a lot of people didn't really. One of my best friends over there that I still speak with, we only speak English with one another. Actually, two friends, my friends Tom and Junias, we still speak in English to this very day. But other than that, German is pretty much the way to go. Woo! 19. If you do something wrong, they will tell you. And I really do mean that, meaning that they will not cross a street if the crosswalk is red. It needs to be green in order for them to go. And they won't stop. So if you walk across, they're just like, and they wait for that light to turn green in order to go. I think the biggest example of this was actually one day I was parking my car and it was actually a handicapped parking spot, but I did not know. Some lady saw it from way across, came over to my car, knocked on my window and was like, handicap, you have to move. I'm glad she did because I would have gotten a ticket, but that just amazes me. Like, no one in the US would do that. Like, nope, you're not handicapped, you have to move. She came all the way over to tell me I had to move because it was a handicapped parking spot. I am grateful, but that just shocked me. Number 20, holidays and sick days. Germany puts a huge emphasis on mental health. And so a lot of people take some days, if they have a headache, they might take a sick day or something, or they're just not feeling well, they'll take a sick day. That doesn't happen in the US. In the US, if you call out for that, they're like, oh, you need a doctor's note. Or when you called out last week, why are you calling out again this week? Germany doesn't really care about that. They want you to be healthy and you to be at your very best at work. So if you need to take 1 or 2 days off, then do it. And then holidays, whoo! You probably have 26 days of vacation a year. And that's the starting when you go into a job. And that can go up. I know some people that had 32 holidays, and that's not including public holidays. So you will have so much time to do whatever you want. And a lot of people actually take 2 to 3 weeks off around the Christmas time. That's pretty much when the country shuts down. And they're just like, nope, I'm on holiday. Leave me alone. And they do all the work beforehand and don't expect a lot to get done during that time. Last but not least, Oktoberfest. So Oktoberfest isn't a nationwide thing for Germany. If you're from the north or the west, they probably don't celebrate Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest is primarily a southern thing, but not everyone has an Oktoberfest. So Oktoberfest is mainly known in Munich. That's where the big celebration is. Everywhere else will have their Mooswiese or the Mooswiese or the Volksfest or Cannstatter Vasen. They have different names for it. And so it's not necessarily called Oktoberfest, but yeah. And another thing, it's in September. It starts in September, so it's not even in October. So it's like, whoa, why is it called Oktoberfest? But these fests are absolutely amazing. Being on tables, dancing on chairs with all the Germans with your big heavy beers. It is the best time of your life, and it is by far, hands down, the best thing about Germany. So, I hope you enjoyed these fun facts that I pretty much put together about Germany, what I thought was great and important in order to know before actually going. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Peace out.